for some nights. I hate the way they echo in my mind. I lay awake, I couldn't close my eyes. And then my hair will never say goodbye. I was only 15, I had to grow up. I went every which way, but never felt like I was home. It was right in that place where the rubber hit the road. Now you brought Damascus here to Idaho, to Idaho.
At Wiper & True, we make beer. Our aim is to become net zero by 2030. That's the main focus. If we can do it before, we will. No doubt about it. So the main challenges in brewing is knowing where your carbon footprint comes from, getting more efficient with all your processes, so efficiency is a massive one, knowing how to reduce and where to reduce your energy. Because we're moving to a new site, we're increasing our brewing capacity by about 4 times. We are looking at anaerobic digesters, we're looking at CO2 recovery plants, we're going to have a new steam boiler that is way more efficient. We're going to get a full solar array on the new brewery roof. It's really amazing to see Bristol City Council putting that in planning requirements. Bristol is massively supporting the cause. It's a green city, they care about it and they want to make change, they want to see it happen. And this is clear from all of the people they've just employed on the council to fight the very ambitious climate targets that they've set. We are not perfect at the moment, we've got a lot of work to do. It's not going to be an easy one, there's going to be lots of things to navigate, but we're really excited. Because a lot of our carbon comes from our Scope 3 emissions, we have to speak to our suppliers. We need to look at them and ask them the questions. The louder voice we have within the industry, the more we can start to influence supply chains. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can choose the right suppliers who have lower carbon emissions, or you can work with your current suppliers to create a bit more of an industry-wide change and kind of force them, saying, okay, you've got 2 years to sort out your carbon footprint and your commitments, otherwise we're going to go with another supplier. One of the things that I'm most proud of is that the company have adopted the net zero targets. That's a massive thing. I'm very proud of the company for doing that. Certainly having kids makes you realise that, it's inherited. Whatever we do is inherited. And so the stewardship that we have, is really important to make the world a better place. It's about relentless determination. We've just got to keep on going and we'll get there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Nice. Good luck, all.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello. I know. It's nice
Come
to
on.
meet you properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to please come back to your tables? We have a fabulous panel waiting for you. Do come in, sit down. Prepare yourself for amazingness. No pressure. So this panel is the one I think that we're all really hoping will give us loads of ideas. Where are the business opportunities? Our chair is Katherine Piper, who is the director of Future Leap Network. Katherine's role there is to oversee the sustainability of the hub and to manage partnerships. She sits on the Bristol's One City Environmental Sustainability Board and leads with sustainability within the Future Leap Hub. She is putting her MSc in Sustainable Development to amazingly good use. She has recently co-published a paper with Professor Jim Longhurst on corporate carbon management. And in amongst all of her different achievements, actually my favourite one is the fact that she's working to make her cat net zero. Because when you do that, can you let me know? Because I've got squirrels that are kind of waiting. I will hand over, but please, I'm really looking forward to the content from the panel. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Well, firstly, thank you so much for all attending this afternoon's event. So, this panel discussion is about the business case for going green. And on the panel today, we have Steve Rees from Mitsubishi Electric. We have Sarah Sloman from Elmtronics, Stephanie Housty from EcoSurety, and Mukti Mitchell from Mitchell & Dickinson. So I'm going to let them explain to you first a little bit about their remit. So just 1 minute each, please, and then we shall get into some questions. So Mukti, coming to you first.
Sure, thanks. So Mitchell & Dickinson insulates period properties, and by fitting loft insulation, draft-proofing, secondary glazing, we can usually reduce heat loss by 40%. We've insulated an entire heritage village. We've insulated a good part of County Hall in Exeter and 1,000 period properties across southern England, proving that Britain's most beautiful buildings can get well on the way to net zero. And with my other hat, I run an organisation called Carbon Savvy, which helps councils reach net zero by outreach to their constituents on the best things you can do to reduce your carbon footprint.
Thank you so much. Stephanie, over to you.
Hi everyone. Yeah, you can hear me okay. I'm Steph Housty. I'm the marketing manager for EcoSurety. So we are a small business, 50 people based in Bristol, and we help businesses to reduce the impact, the environmental impact of their product, basically by helping them to comply with their environmental obligations, by contributing to the cost of recycling of their products. We are a B Corp business since last year, and we are really keen to make a meaningful impact, so we try to go beyond just recycling to encourage members to look at their data. We call our customers members, to look at their data, to see how they can reduce maybe their packaging, how they can look at their carbon emissions and so on. So yeah, really beyond recycling and to reduce and move up the waste hierarchy.
How wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm Sarah Sloman, the head of future mobility at Elmtronics and Hubster. Elmtronics is an award-winning electric vehicle charge point infrastructure company, but we try to be so much more than that. We try to be sort of stewards of change and learning from example. And we're one of the businesses that's been around the longest as well. So for us, it's really important that we help spread that word and spread that knowledge to electrify as fast as we can, powered by renewable energy. So I won't say any more because we're going to go into it in a little bit deeper detail next.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Stephen Rees from Mitsubishi Electric, Regional Manager for the South West. I'm here to talk about renewable opportunities in the heating sectors. At the moment, that conversation is very much around heat pumps, and it's been mentioned by 3 of the previous speakers, I think. I wanted to mention a couple of stats which will set me up for what I want to discuss later on and set the context. So, domestic and commercial heating emissions are 15% of the total UK greenhouse gas emissions. So that's only transport and manufacturing that are greater. The Climate Change Committee have indicated the importance that heat pumps will play towards a net zero future. By 2050, 19 million heat pumps will be required in homes to meet the targets. We're gearing up for 1 million installs per annum by 2030, which is not that long away. Currently, the air source heat pump market, which is ourselves, everyone else that contributes to it, is 33,000 a year. That's versus 1.5 million domestic gas boilers sold every year. So that's a snapshot of the growth that we're expecting to see in the renewables heating market.
Thank you so much to all of our panellists. So I'm going to combine the first 2 questions. Our first questions being, what does a net zero future mean for your business? And how has your business responded to this opportunity? So we'll come down the line again. So coming to Mukti first.
Net zero for Mitchell & Dickinson means insulating a lot of properties. We currently have 60 staff working across southern England. But if we had, with like 2 or 3 million turnover, if we had 50 million turnover and worked solidly for 20 years, we wouldn't insulate 1% of Britain's homes. So it means also training a lot of staff. It means also influencing the markets. And we want to prove that insulating period properties is profitable, so that investment goes into it and other companies take up insulating the rest of the housing stock. And it's going to be a very exciting ride. According to my business partner, Paul Dickinson, the public have turned. And a recent study by the Economist Intelligence Unit found that 2/3 of consumers in the study, which is global, are now making environmental choices when they're buying things. In the fashion industry, 50% of chief execs are saying that consumer buying choices are driving their pursuit of sustainability. So basically, the public has turned, the interest is there. There's a lot of noise for the next couple of years, I think, with greenwash, etc. Not everybody knows, and the companies don't know what is green. But through that next 2 or 3 years, I think the companies that know what they're doing, the people who get started in sustainability, are going to come through the noise as being recognised as market leaders. And it's going to mean a very exciting ride. And I think the curve is going to go like that. And so there's going to be a point at which the demand for environmental services of every type is going to go through the roof. And managing that demand process is going to be really going to take a lot of good strategy, because, of course, over-demand has an impact as well, in the sense that if we have to tell our customers that they have to wait two years to get an install, they'll go away. So there's a lot of really interesting questions. And one of the biggest ones in the insulation field is training of staff. It's known that there just aren't enough people by a long way who have the skills to insulate, particularly the heritage properties. And so how can we get staff trained? Skill transfer is a big part of reaching net zero.
So educational opportunities alongside business opportunities there then, by the sounds of it. Thanks, Mukti. Over to Stephanie.
Yeah, so for EcoShorty, getting to net zero, there is definitely a business opportunity. So I talked about recycling, that's the space we operate under. But all the customers we work with, if they want to get to net zero, they have to reduce the environmental impact of their product, to recycle more, so to find ways to use more recycled material. Not only plastic, but the type of material they use is really important. Maybe switch to another material. So there is consumer pressure for them to use more recyclable material and so on. There is regulation, legislation coming as well. So they feel the pressure to do it. So there is definitely for us a business opportunity. So we obviously embrace that and work with them, work with recyclers, try to bring them together to find solution, to find closed-loop solution, to move to a more circular economy. And for us as a business, we are a 50 people business. You may think, oh, it's quite small, what can we do? So we committed to be net zero by 2030. So we work on our Scope 1 and Scope 3, and that things we can control. But Scope 3, that's the thing which the indirect emission, as other people have mentioned in previous panel, that's the challenge. But that's also a huge opportunity, because we work with over 50 recyclers over the UK. We work with 1,000 customers, large and small, in the UK. If we start the conversation with them, say, okay, we would like to reduce our carbon emission, our Scope 3 emission, what do you do? Like, how can we work together? That's where we can trigger a ripple effect, like starting the conversation and starting to reduce the carbon emission altogether. It's not only us 50 people business, it could be much more than that. So I think we all have a huge opportunity in front of us by doing that, by reaching out to our suppliers and have these conversations.
Exactly, and I think that's probably why we put this panel together, is we get that. We're individual businesses doing everything we can for our customers, and inward looking, obviously we're trying to make sure that everything we do can be acknowledged and accounted for. but it's inspiring that change up and down the supply chain as well, even down to changing partners if you don't feel they are on the same page as you. And this is where we are now. This is a challenging phase. We have to look really carefully, and if people aren't keeping up, then they need to make changes in order to stay on board. I think that's a really important message, not to be afraid to kind of shout that out and make those changes if you as a business don't feel like you're being supported and you're not all going in the same direction. So as a company, we've just onboarded a brand new home charge product called Easy. They're designed in Norway and based here in the UK. And why I love them is because each individual charge point has 4 kilograms less copper and plastic than other home charge providers, but not just that. The way the system works is they can be linked together on what they call a daisy chain, which means that you don't have to take copper down to the ground and back up to the next charge point. So a recent installation saved 750 meters of copper cabling, and it's calculations like that that will make the bigger difference. So at Elmtronics and Hubster, we try to make this very clear for our customers, both commercial and home. There's a lot you can do with simple product choice and just doing that research and just fact checking along the way, not getting sold by fantastic packaging and wonderful posters, but really digging deeper into what their ambition is, where do they recruit, who do they employ, what are their ethos and their mission and their value statements. So it's fun. I like how everybody's turned, the consumer has turned. And we were at COP26 in Glasgow the last few days doing a fringe event, and it was really fun to hear people pledging, and their pledges weren't just, oh, I'm going to recycle. Their pledges were like, I'm going to inspire 5 people to adopt renewable energy in their homes because I have and I've never looked back. And it's just, everybody's got this galvanising vibe about them at the moment, which is really exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. And just to say, before we move on to Steve, we are encouraging questions. We've got a few questions coming in, but please do, via Slido, put in your questions to our panel. So over to you, Steve.
Okay, sure. What does it mean to us, Mitsubishi? Well, it's a big commercial opportunity, but what are we doing about that, or what is our strategy in the UK? The heat pump market is pretty much in its infancy. It's been around for 10 years in the UK, but the growth has been pretty small up to this point. There's legislation that's really driving it now, and it's becoming the solution that everybody is looking for towards the domestic solution. So we've been involved from the start. We feel that we need to be professional and responsible in everything that we do. There aren't renewable contractors out there that can do the volume of work that we're talking about at the moment, so training is really key for us. Lockdown was a blessing in one way, that we were able to concentrate on our online courses. Up to probably a year ago, it was very difficult to try and engage traditional heating contractors with us. They almost had their heads in the sand in terms of the changes that were due on their industry. But there's been some legislation changes. No gas in new buildings from 2025, which has really got them to focus and realise the winds of change that are happening. So we are there to try and support them. There's a lot of bad publicity cases about heat pumps, which is all down to education and knowledge. Poorly sized heat pumps, not understanding the technicalities with air source heat pumps, and even like Mukti was saying about insulation. The first question that we have with any customer is, are you fully thermally efficient? Before you start talking to us about heat pumps, then that's a question that you need to address first. So there's lots of other things that we've done to try and take the new renewable contractor with us. We've got our branding for air source heat pumps called Ecodan. So we do Ecodan courses. We've got Ecodan buses that we drive out to social housing and local authorities, so they can see the product and actually play around with it and see what they're getting. So for us, it's definitely educating the industry and acting in as professional and responsible way as we can. We know the sales will be there, but it's actually trying to get the base and develop it all and get the founding as solid as we can.
Very similar to Mukti's comments around education and training. Thank you. We've had a few questions come in from our online attendees, so thank you for that. First one is, how can businesses afford to put the initial resource into going net zero? The personnel, financial and otherwise. Mukti, I'm going to come to you for this one. So how can businesses afford this?
It should be a financially beneficial decision, and it's a question of which of the technologies you need to employ are already more financially viable. So first thing is to do an audit work out what are the things you need to do to reduce your carbon footprint, insulate, as we heard earlier, LED light bulbs, all those things, and then put them into a hierarchy. And the first ones, insulating and LED light bulbs, are going to pay for themselves sometimes within months. The bulbs will pay for themselves in months. Insulation, depending on the age of your property, is a few years. But basically, there's a return on investment. And when we insulate period properties, we're typically finding 7 to 12% return on investment in terms of saving on fuel bills. So if you get that hierarchy right, getting to net zero is going to be really good financially. It's a financial opportunity, both in terms of making those changes and the businesses that help make the changes, but also it's going to save a lot of money. It's basically making businesses more efficient in every way. Saving energy saves money and actually improves quality of life as well, generally. So businesses that go green, quote unquote, or sign up for B Corp, find that their staff are more enthusiastic and therefore more productive. So there's a lot of business gains across the board, I think.
Thank you. Sarah, I'm going to come to you. There's a question here. For those of us electric and hybrid car owners, is there hope of vehicle-to-grid microgrid solutions for homes in the near future?
Definitely. So there is one thing I would like to just revisit on the investment statement. It's really important. It is an invest to save programme, definitely. But if you're struggling for that capital outlay in the first place, please do investigate. There are grants available and there are businesses who are entirely structured to support your journey, like in a CapEx monthly fee model. So anyway, but the vehicle to grid market is a very exciting one. It was only 3 years ago at Cenex LCV Live. We heard the bi-directional charger was coming. This is where your vehicle can give the energy back to the grid. But even more exciting than that, 3 years later, we've also got vehicle to home, which I think is really, really crucial. So that's where you would potentially use your vehicle to power your home when you get home. But the best bit about it is that you wouldn't have to do anything, because if you've got a smart home and smart device and smart vehicle and smart phone and smart everything, you almost just allow it to happen. And this is really important for local neighbourhoods and the grid, because we know when the grid is cleanest and cheapest for us. We know this. National Grid have just launched a new app which can show you as an electric vehicle driver when to charge. So it won't affect your back pocket, but you will be doing the right thing. And then, of course, thinking about switching. There's some great companies out there. Right Charge is one of the Action Net Zero partners, and they can help you find not only the best charger on the market, but the best renewable energy to go to make sure that you're benefiting from those, all the savings that you can have from taking advantage of the green grid. So it's very complicated. There's even vehicle to X, which means that wherever you go and plug your car in, you should be able to interface with that charger. Regardless of what happens next, it's about you as a consumer. How do you want to drive your vehicle? Of course, I would always encourage that vehicles are driven less, which means they'll be idling more. And then that means you can utilise that as an asset. So instead of buying a battery to go in your home, and a lot of second-hand batteries are being used as home battery storage devices. So if you'd have asked me that 3 years ago, I would have had to have gone, well, there's a few examples coming forward. But now there's a lot of products coming to market. And there's a fantastic company in the Malverns, Mahindra, who... they're not called Mahindra, they're called Indra. Mahindra's the Indian company. Indra. They have been doing bidirectional charging for a really long time, and again, designed and manufactured here in the UK, so definitely worth a look at them. The idea is that you can take the pressure off the grid. The idea is that you can green the grid. And the idea is that the homeowner can then take control of their energy and understand what they're using in the home and how to make that a better balance for you as an individual consumer. If you think about that on a business scale, though, that's where it gets super exciting. So you can have rows and rows of electric vehicles, and then that asset that belongs to your employees can help power your building during the day, and you can reward them by refilling their battery for them off renewable energy that you've stored on site. The possibilities are endless. So keep your ear to the ground, and let's think about where we could go way before 2030, when the ban of internal combustion engine vehicles comes, and way before 2050, by which time we'll have to slap our own wrists harder than a legal law court would allow.
Thanks, Sarah. And coming to Steve next, I've got a question here. Currently, low-carbon jobs are 1% of all jobs in the region. Okay. How do we persuade more people to get the right skills to meet the net zero opportunity? A tricky one.
I think in our trade, there is easily transferable skills. So you've got HVAC contractors, heat and ventilating, air conditioning people that are migrating over to becoming renewable contractors. You've got traditional plumbing contractors that want to come across. So the people are there that have got very closely relatable skills. So if ourselves and other people in the industry and with legislation driving it, we can people can migrate across. And so traditional heating companies can be renewable companies. There's not that much of a change that they need to make. While I'm talking about the costing and funding, there's always been funding in air source heat pumps. It falls under the renewable heat incentive, which that's been replaced very recently. It's only in the last couple of weeks that the government have replaced a separate £5,000 grant, which is going to be a lot easier to apply, and it's going to be more of a mass or more attractive to generally rather than the RHI, which needed a fair amount of work to make your claims.
Yep.
So all things like that will make it easier for people to migrate across.
Brilliant, thank you. And we've not got a huge amount of time, so a succinct answer on this one, if that's okay, Stephanie. What's the easiest way of calculating your organisation's carbon footprint?
That's a very good question. We work with someone, he's in the room, Simon, hello, to help us doing that. Scope 1 and 2, we got the data, so it's quite easy. Scope 3, we are working on it. So based on estimates, SIG code from the suppliers we work with and so on. So we are at the moment doing it, so that's a very timely question. And if you want, after this talk, I can give you more information about what we are doing.
Thank you so much. A little bit of a shameless plug that was, really, because Simon is one of our carbon consultants at Future Leap. So so thanks for that. So we're just going to round up with any top tips or any takeaways that you think would be useful for the audience this afternoon. So coming down the line again then to Mukti first.
Well, the easiest way to understand carbon footprints and what you need to do in your business is actually to do your own personal carbon footprint, because that really gives you an immediate sense of it. So I recommend doing the carbon footprint calculator at carbonsavvy.uk as a first step. And I hope that you'll find, as what I often promote, reducing your carbon footprint is fun, and this decade is going to be fun, and the lifestyles that we're going to lead post 2050 are going to be way better for our quality of life than what we live today.
I can highly vouch for Mukti's carbon calculator, that you also get an opportunity to measure your well-being, and then you get to compare the two, and you're like, oh right, if I do this, which improves my well-being, actually I'm also reducing my carbon footprints, so the two do go hand in hand, and it was really sort of like quite useful for me to see that it's not all about sacrifice. There are also some real gains there to be had in terms of your quality of life. Stephanie, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about something else than carbon footprint. I'm going to talk quickly about B Corp. So I said we are a B Corp. And for us, it has been a massive plus opportunity in terms of retaining and attracting customers with the same values as us. So if you are really keen to do something about sustainability, carbon, obviously, but not only, be more sustainable as a business, I would encourage you to look at the B Impact Assessment. It's a free tool available online, and you can really look at your governance, your community, environment, obviously, customers, your staff, your workforce, and see where you could do improvement, see where you are in the sustainability scale. And it's really a useful framework to assess your sustainability and help you to get better. So that would be my top tip.
Yeah, we're going through the B Corp process at the moment as well, and it's so useful, to have that sort of checklist of what you might not have considered potentially around your sustainability. And we do have a B Corp consultant who can support with that at Future Leap as well, if that's of interest. Coming to Sarah.
Thank you. I think all change starts with a trigger. And I'm hoping that COP26 is going to be exactly that trigger for a lot of businesses, not just in our region, but nationally and internationally too. The snag is, of course, we all are here because we get it and we understand and we care. So it's kind of our job now, as a result of today, to see how many people you can inspire to change. Even if you're sick of your own voice, I certainly am sick of mine, you still need to remember that you will have something that somebody else doesn't know. And even on this panel, we've just learned that there's someone in the room who can help you. There's organisational websites that we can visit, I will be. And so that's just incremental changes make huge differences. And I think the skills gap is a scary one for me. I know that there's 75,000 engineers required in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years for the electric vehicle market. We don't have them. We've got 15,000. I don't know what we're going to do. We need to be inspiring our colleges and schools and parents everywhere to show the future generation that it's a great market to get into. 1%, I can't believe that. I thought that was going to be much higher. So whatever you can do in your friends and your family circles and networks, just see if we can bring people in from the outside.
Thank you, Steve.
I said earlier that for us it's about doing the right thing and being professional and responsible. So, and I did mention it earlier as well. Advice that we're giving to customers would be go to the very basics and, are you insulating your property well? Do all the basics right first, and do maybe there's a conversation to have with us after that. But that's what we'd recommend to do. Do the right thing.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to all of our panellists this afternoon. And just to end with a quote that many of you will have heard me say at all of our weekly events that we put on, from Mark Carney. I know he's been quoted before, but if the climate emergency isn't enough of an incentive for us to get on board and adopt sustainable business practices, Mark Carney was quoted as saying that businesses that don't adapt will go bankrupt without question. So this is not just a niche part of the economy. This is a whole economy transition that is required. So just thank you so much for coming along today and for thinking about what you might be able to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katherine, and a fabulous panel. I'm feeling really excited. That question on EV and cars was mine, and I thank you for answering that, because now I have great hope that I can link up my solar panels with my hybrid, which is a Mitsubishi, by the way. I'm going to talk to you. And then a Leaf, and then, I can save the planet from my home. Fabulous, thank you so much. We are now going to move straight on to the next panel. Sorry to usher you off the stage, but please catch all of these people, these amazing experts, during and after and in between all of the sessions that we've got. So this session is being run by our very own Nina Skubala, Head of Climate Strategy at Business West. What can I say about Nina other than she is a force literally of nature? She has been driving forward on both strategy for businesses and our own organisations. She sits even on the steering board of my own startup looking at afforestation using corporate data, corporate land ownership. She's a font of knowledge, and I'm really looking forward to her session, which is all about where do businesses go for help. So over to you, Nina. Calling all the panel members who are due to come up, please. Take your seats.
Thanks, Jaya. That's a big introduction to live up to. So just waiting for all our panellists to make their way down to the front. So I think, it's been really good working on this event for the last couple of weeks. I mean, it really does show what, the Chamber of Commerce and our leadership group, the initiative, are able to really pull the strings of businesses, the local authorities, and sort of convene all of us together. But at Business West, we're a bit more than that. We help companies start up, export, innovate, and take on new staff. And lots of my colleagues have got lots of expertise in working with companies that are in the low carbon sector, and also they've got good knowledge as well of climate change. So I really urge you, if you're looking at taking on some of these things, to contact some of my colleagues. At Business West, we've also created a Trading to Net Zero site as well, and that's there to convene all of the data, all of the organisations then that are able to help you to get to net zero. We've got events, so I really urge you to take a look at that. And in a few weeks' time, we'll hopefully be launching a carbon footprinting tool and a series of workshops to help you make that transition to net zero. So I think Jaya mentioned right at the start that net zero can feel daunting for those at the top of a class and those at the bottom. So what I'm going to do for the next few minutes is call on a few of our friends, I guess, from our friendly organisations along, and ask them just to tell us in 1 minute what they can do to help businesses in this room on that journey to get to net zero. So first, I'm going to call up to the stage is Ryan Munn from City Funds, and he's going to have 60 seconds to tell us all about what they can do. Over to you, Ryan.
Thanks, Nina. Hi, good afternoon. My name's Ryan, and I work for Bristol and Bath Regional Capital. And the first thing to just say, take a bit of my 60 seconds, is you'll notice I have a different accent, and yes, I do know Mark Carney. So everyone, I'm just trying to get the Mark Carney love. But one thing I would say to Mark is he's got 130 trillion, and he doesn't really know what to do with it. And I would say we're at City Funds, we're pioneering a place-based blended finance model that I think he wants to talk to us about. So what do we do? At Bristol and Bath Regional Capital, we invest because we believe that purpose-driven business can create the solutions that we need in this region so that everyone can thrive. Our flagship fund is called City Funds, and it's a partnership with Quartet Community Foundation that brings a grant resource. Bristol and Bath Regional Capital, which I work for, and that's investment funds, so that's risk and patient capital, and Bristol City Council, which is coordinating all this activity via the city office. And what I would say is basically come to us, what do you want to do, and how can we help you pay for that? That's what we do. We're putting together these models that can really activate the change that we need. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks very much. That's a really good start. Thank you. So, next I'm going to call up is Ben Wright, and he's from Better Bristol Businesses. So, Ben, here you go. So if you take the lectern, you'll have... There you go. Don't take the lectern, you can see the timer,
sure.
Ben.
I get the timer, do I?
Over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben, I'm from Bristol 24/7 and Better Business. We are a local independent media organisation. We reach hundreds of thousands of people across our channels every month. We're also a social enterprise, and part of that is about bringing businesses, like-minded businesses together in Bristol to help them thrive through sharing their amazing stories on our channels, through connecting to other businesses, and also working together on projects across the city which are making a real difference. And we've done some amazing stuff over the last couple of years with the 70 or so businesses that we've been working with. Right now, Bristol 24/7 are looking to appoint a climate and sustainability editor to inform, inspire, to challenge people in the local region about what they can do themselves and what their organisations can do to make a difference, and to hold to account the whole city about this very ambitious challenge that we have to get to net zero. We think it's a really unique and important proposition, and something that we feel is the most important thing that we can do to inspire a change locally. And we're now looking to work with a business or businesses who can help support that climate editor and to associate themselves with that independent content across our channels. I think that's
Brilliant.
my minute.
That's it. Thanks very much. That was a lot packed into 60 seconds there. So next, I'm going to invite up, it's Marion Britton, and she's from the West of England Carbon Challenge. Sorry, West of England Combined Authority. Sorry, that was... That's a hang-up from another one.
Great. Thank you. So, yes, I'm from the Combined Authority. We have a green business grant offer of up to £15,000. So we've got some money to help you do all of this stuff. It's available to small and medium-sized enterprises in the West of England. So that's Bristol, Bath and North East Somerset, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. And that's for energy-saving improvements to buildings and business equipment. And the grant pays for 50 to 80% of the cost. To help you decide what to do, as part of the process, we have a free carbon survey. And that's really, as speakers were saying just now, an audit of your energy use and your carbon emissions. So really helping you make those decisions. So if you want more details, we've got information on our website. I'm doing a workshop table a bit later, and we're here with the Energy Hub and the Growth Hub in the stall over there. So we've got some people that can answer your questions.
That's brilliant, Marion. Thanks so much. And I think that's such a good offer for people to take up. Next, come up, can I have Ben Tolhurst, and Ben's from Business Declares. Hi. Yeah, sure. There you go.
Do I start now?
Yeah, your 60 seconds starts now.
Hi everybody, Ben Tolhurst, Business Declares. I quit my job last year. I said goodbye to 25 years of corporate career. And I did that because I understood the implications that the climate crisis will have on us as individuals, but at the same time, I saw the massive opportunities that this crisis gives to business. So I'm now on a purpose-led journey working with businesses to tackle this crisis and create stability and future-proof. So at Business Declares, we do two things: provide access to a network of organizations to provide tools, techniques, resources, and secondly, to run events, to answer some really difficult questions. Where do I begin on my climate journey? How do I know offsetting is authentic? So come and join Business Declares. Come and join me. Help future-proof your business. Ben Tolhurst, Business Declares. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ben. So next to invite up to the lectern is going to be Kate Royston, and Kate is from SevernNet. Excellent. So your 60 seconds starts now, Kate.
Hi, SevernNet is an organisation which facilitates cooperation and collaboration across the unique geography of Portbury, Avonmouth, Sevenside. We bring together businesses and community and stakeholders around key focus areas of travel and transport, skills and enterprise, place and community, and circular economy and energy, to support the transition to net zero and a net zero circular economy. We do this through contacts, connections, shared learning, understanding through regular events, forums, case studies, digital media, and ad hoc projects such as organising shared private buses. And we also have an important active transport initiative called Seven Ride and Stride. If you want to get in touch, SevernNet.org, 2 N's in the middle, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.
Thanks, Kate. Next to come up is going to be Pam from Action Net Zero, who we're currently partnering with on a behaviour change project.
Are we ready? Yeah, off you go. As Nina's just said, so Pam from Action Net Zero, we're currently running an initiative that's called Bristol's Driving Change, and it's focused on supporting businesses to decarbonise their transport, so cleaner and greener transport. That's going through the transport hierarchy, but we have a collaboration, so we've brought together subject matter experts to support specifically decarbonisation and the movement to EVs. That includes ALD Automotive, who are a large international leasing company. We also have Edwards, who are Clean Air, who we heard from earlier on today. We have Good Energy to support us in terms of renewable energy. We have Right Charge, the UK's first online comparison site for both chargers and installers and EV tariffs. We have Co-Charger. They are an amazing innovative platform that focuses on car charger sharing. And we also have Elmtronics Charging, who can provide both home and workplace and local council charging infrastructure. And collectively, we're able to support with TLT, who are a law firm, and Business West. So we're really focused on providing end-to-end solutions to help those businesses. Everything from salary sacrifice, as we said, charging incentives, understanding how to take advantage of the current schemes that are available. So please do get in contact if you'd like to have any understanding of how to help support deep cuts from transport.
Wonderful. Thanks very much, Pam. So I'm going to call Katherine Piper back up, who we've just been listening to. And Katherine's from the Future Leap Network, and she's going to tell us in 60 seconds how she's able to help businesses in the room.
off you go.
Thank you so much, Nina. I feel like I've cheated a little bit because I've already plugged a couple of things in the last panel discussion. But anyway, other bits that I didn't tell you about. We are based within an award-winning carbon-neutral sustainable business hub on the Gloucester Road. So for those of you who know the old Maplins building, we're in there. And within that space, we offer a variety of different environmental services. So that is where our sustainability consultants are based. It is where the Future Leap network is based. That's a business network. We put on weekly sustainability-related hybrid events on different sustainability topics for a business audience. It's also where you might want to locate yourself. We've got co-working space there, so if you want to rent some office space or hot desk within that space, our USP being the fact that it's carbon neutral, then please do come and join us and join that network of change makers. We've also got a really delicious eco cafe, so do come in, and I highly recommend the pastries there. So hopefully see you either at one of our events or maybe in the cafe having a pastry. Thank you.
Thanks, Katherine. I think that all sounds really good, especially the cafe part. So can I introduce Libby Sandbrook, and Libby is from Business in the Community.
Thank you, Nina, and thank you for letting me sit in one of the lovely white chairs for a bit as well. So yes, I'm Libby. I'm from Business in the Community. For those of you who don't know us, we proudly call ourselves the biggest and oldest responsible business network in the UK. We were founded by and continue to be inspired by the Prince of Wales. Climate change and climate action is right at the top of what we're doing with our members at the moment. We're very focused on collaboration and trying to work together to up the scale, increase the pace of action, the scale of ambition, and the scope of influence. We have this brilliant Southwest board who also focused on climate action and want to collaborate with all of you to look at how we can do this more together. Some of their priorities, the things that they're focused on are, we've done a lot of peer learning, working with Nina and team, and want to continue that. So if you're interested in getting involved, come and let us know. We're shaping at the moment a piece of work. What we're hearing really loud and clear from the larger businesses is that they want to work collaboratively to support smaller businesses, but also work collaboratively to find solutions. So we're creating a bit of a mentoring program around that. Do get involved. Third area of focus is just an inclusive transition, and what action do larger businesses need to take to support, or not larger businesses, business, to support people in the actions they want to take at home, and to help make sure that everybody benefits from the opportunities that are being created through this new green economy. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Okay, and next I'm going to call up, it's Toby Howkins, and he's from YTKO.
Thank you very much. Got the letters the right way round, which is a bonus point. Hi everybody, I'm Toby Howkins, Project Director at YTKO. We run a lot of different funded programs in the region here, supporting people starting up businesses, growing their existing business, housing, community engagement, all sorts of different things, mainly utilising our skills and networks in engaging with small people and small businesses and communities across pause. Yeah, we have a lot of different things going on. We've got some stands in the corner there. We've got colleagues dotted around the room, some of whom may raise their hands, but it is dark in here, so you probably won't see. We've got enterprise support programs in Bristol, funded through the European funds, WECA and Bristol City Council. Main point of that is helping you make changes into your sustainability journey and making them apply to your actual business. I think often it's quite easy to get the low-hanging fruit of sectors. So we're about construction companies, designers, just fundamentals of our SME sectors across this region that we can help out. The other point to what we do is around skill support, and it's been mentioned a bit today that regardless of whether we want to become net zero and what we want to do as a society is we don't have the skills to enact it. So fortunately we've got funding through West of England Combined Authority and working with the local councils through the Workforce of the Future projects to support traditional construction businesses to explore the wonderful world of modern methods of construction and how that can become more sustainable and also more commercially viable to future-proof your business. So come over to us in the corner. We've got basically loads and loads of free support and we're happy to help and connect in with some of the other partners that are in the room and outside. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby. Okay, so next I'm going to call up Anne O'Driscoll, who we work with frequently at the Chamber and the Initiative. And she's from North Bristol SusCom. So over to you, Anne.
Thanks, Nina. As Nina said, I'm Anne O'Driscoll and I run North Bristol SusCom. We're a group of businesses and business parks based in North Bristol, and we've been working together for a number of years now, trying to help decarbonise the commute of our 45,000 plus combined employees and 30,000 students. And we do this in two ways. The first way is at a strategic level, so we really try and influence those who are making funding decisions and attracting funding to deliver the infrastructure that we need to enable our staff to leave their cars at home. So that can be new bus routes, that can be new cycle routes, that can be a whole range of measures, including behaviour change support as well. And then the other thing we do is, as businesses, we work together to help our employees make that change. So whether it's we invest in facilities on site, so lockers so they can store stuff if they run into work, or loan bikes and cycle schemes to help staff get to work. Today at our roundtable, which is number 7, we'll be sharing with you 7 quick wins that any business here can start to work on today to help you get started on that path to net zero commuting. And we're here to listen to what your issues are as well. And I brought chocolate, so please join our table.
Thanks, and something tells me that table might be quite popular. So next I'm going to call up to the stage is Jim Longhurst, and he's going to tell us all what UE is able to do for businesses to decarbonise.
Thank you, Nina. Good afternoon, everyone. So what can UWE do to help you on your journey to net zero? Well, we have 30,000 students. Many of them are looking for project work, for work-based learning, or even volunteering. So talk to the university about how you can connect into that fantastic array of resource. That's the first thing we can do. The second thing is our 2,000 academic staff, many of whom are active in the net zero space. Their advice, their consultancy, their research, it is there in the university. Connect with us to access those resources. And maybe come and do one of our CPD courses on an array of relevant net zero activity. And finally, my colleagues in research, business and innovation, who run a whole array of different support for businesses, and with the support of the Combined Authority, soon to launch the Skills for Green Growth programme. We also have an array of other business support, targeted SMEs and others. So with all of that, come and talk to me at the table later and find out much more. I have some colleagues who know even more about the skills support. Don't rely on me, rely on them. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. That was brilliant. That was covered so much in 60 seconds. And I can definitely vouch for taking part in their internship schemes. We've taken on a net zero intern, and it's been brilliant for us. And the last speaker I'm called up is going to be Kaylee Jackson-Baker from the Bristol Green Capital Partnership.
Thank you, Nina. So Bristol Green Capital Partnership is a unique and free membership network which brings together over 1,000 businesses and organisations to work towards the city's environmental goals. One of our projects is the Climate Action Programme, which provides events, resources and peer-to-peer learning opportunities to help organisations reduce their carbon emissions, whatever their starting point. As part of this programme, we host the Climate Leaders Group, a space for shared support and learning for organisations who've committed to be carbon neutral by 2030 and have a plan in place for reducing their emissions. So far, this comprises 30 organisations, but it could also include you. Change is happening, so join the partnership, get involved in the Climate Action Programme, and we can support you to take bold, transformative action that will lead to Bristol's fast and fair transition. Find more information and loads of free resources at bristolgreencapital.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of the expert speakers that came up, and you know, I've got to applaud them for getting to telling us so much in 60 seconds. You know, the Mayor and the One City office, they've all put this challenge out to businesses and organisations. Can we all get a target to try and get to net zero by 2030? I think we've heard from lots of the speakers today about
not only that there's the right way to go, but there's also lots of business opportunities available. So I really urge all of you to use this networking time and today to talk to each other and talk to the experts in the room and try and let's make a start. And if you've made a start, let's go a little bit further.
Bristol's businesses are taking action on climate. Bristol has set a goal to become a net zero city by 2030.
The Bristol Climate Leaders Group is a group of 30 businesses and organisations who are all leading on climate action, and we've asked them to share insights into their journey with you.
One of the first steps that we took here at the SS Great Britain was to set up a sustainability working group.
We decided to invite a high-profile speaker to come in and present to our staff and our clients about climate change.
Measuring our energy, water and waste outputs enabled us to make informed decisions on reducing our environmental footprint.
Initially, we focused on low-hanging fruit, such as removing old oil boilers, installing LED lighting and replacing inefficient fleet vehicles.
One of the things that we found really particularly challenging was actually looking at what our carbon footprint is and actually doing the calculations for that.
For me, one of the biggest challenges I've found is just finding the whole thing a bit overwhelming. But one of the ways that I've found helps with dealing with that is to break it up into smaller sections. And then you can start by tackling the easier things. And once those are done, you've built up a bit of momentum and enthusiasm to then start tackling the more difficult things.
As a team of one in an organisation of 900 people, there's obviously a limit to what I can do. So much of my work is integrating environmental best practice and climate responsible decisions across the organisation.
The biggest challenge we faced in reducing our carbon footprint was knowing where to start, which is why we commissioned the creation of a carbon route map, which will detail carbon outputs throughout the hospital.
Hire a single dedicated person who has complete oversight of sustainability in their role.
Do something, switch to a 100% renewable supplier or start generating your own.
Engage with your colleagues in management to understand their perspective and priorities.
Bring everyone on the journey with you. I think it's so vital that those on the ground are at the very beginning of that ideation and solution process, not at the end.
Plan it properly, make it part of your whole strategy of your business rather than just paying it lip service.
All environmental improvements that you can make are really important.
Choose something that you can do easily, no matter how simple or how small it might seem, and just do that one thing.
It's key to ensure that you have all of your stakeholders aligned so that you are all moving in the same direction.
Have a real look at where your biggest impacts are.
Create your own green team.
It's only by working together that we will achieve our climate goals.
We need every organisation in Bristol to step up and do more on climate action.
So no matter where you are in the city, which sector you're in, we need everybody to get involved. We can only do this if we all work together.
Fabulous, inspirational video. So it's my job to do the not the end sum up. And if I will be missing stuff, so please tweet out what I've missed. That would be amazing. But I can recap a wee bit based on all of the fabulous sessions that we've had and what we've learned. Obviously, we started with Mayor Marvin Rees telling us about the investment opportunity of decarbonising our cities. Also, he freaked the hell out of me by telling me there is no plan. Actually, I think we all knew, overarching, had there been a plan, we would have been doing it. But it needs finance, and also we cannot separate human rights from planetary protection. We have to do all of that all at once. Having worked at the human rights end, I have noticed that the same supply chains that we have seen breaking under the pressure of the pandemic are the same ones that we have to look at for modern slavery, labour exploitation, and all the way through to environmental damage. Then we had Colin Skellett, who reiterated the need for partnership, the fact that you needed not just a route map, but annual checkpoints as well. It's a case of inspecting, not just expecting. Really excited about having the world's most carbon neutral arena. but also we must watch for greenwash. We must be transparent in all of our actions so that we make that the new business as usual. We cannot accept less. Simon Roberts, of course, loved that. Jazz, not Mozart. Fabulous, I'm stealing it. So it's not just about the whats and the hows. We have to know that there is no conductor and that we have to listen and then join in. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I can't get my head around everything, but I can be looking at what people are doing and making a plan based on that. He also said, in terms of procurement, that we could aggregate leverage, and I can see that that is coming together with big businesses already onto that, and with the Modern Slavery Act and Section 54. We should recalibrate our expectations, and we should stop the chain, again, by reuse. Then we moved on to the sessions. There was a hell of a lot that we learned, and James's session on the very real examples of action being taken by businesses. Richard's panel on national, regional and local policy. Seeing all of this as an investment, not a cost, that we will get the money back, but we do have to start somewhere, and that there has to be some organisations able to take the risk while we're getting everything sorted. Many cities to look to for good examples, London, New York. Also hearing about South Gloucestershire's steps to taking unnecessary travel off and creating 15-minute communities, which I find very exciting. Katherine's panel, we've talked from everything from B Corp to lots of business opportunities, EV, vehicle to grid, you name it. I think that there is much that we can get into once we start. So the other thing, I guess, is to reiterate that there is an ask of you. If you haven't already declared your ambition for net zero for 2030, please do so. There's a website to do that on, and it's just there. www.bristoloncity.com/climate-ask. You should publish your plan within 6 months. If you can do that on the homepage of your website in the same way that big businesses have to do so for their modern slavery statements. That would be a really good statement and enables all of your customers and clients to see that you're absolutely committed. Again, publish your news of everything that you do in an evidenceable way on the channels that you have access to. And please do send it to us at the Chamber of Commerce as well. We will shout to the high heavens all the good stuff that you're doing. Make use of hashtags too. It makes it so much easier to get people to feel that lots is happening. We need to provide hope, and your actions are fuel for that hope. So, that was a very bitty summary, but I'm hoping that that gives you a flavour of what you've already learned. I'm also hoping that Nina's session, all of the offers that have been coming forward, we can summarise again. I've run out of 3 pens today trying to make notes. It would be really good if we can start to disseminate that information afterwards so we can all take proper action on it. What's going to happen next, I guess, is we're going to have a bit of a break, is that right? And then when you come back, there will be tables for discussion. Is that going to show up? There is a slide. Okay, right. So things will be rearranged. So depending on what you want to talk about and what you want to progress first, please find that table. Really pleased that we're seeing B Corp. My own entity is a B Corp, so it's Business West. It's a really good journey to take if you want to. All of these subjects are so fantastic. I want to attend all of them, but sadly you're going to have to report back because there's only one of me. But over you go to your break, and please come back and grab the table that you want first and get to move around. Thank you.